going on, guys, and welcome in to the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. And Tyler's yawning all the time. I am Jessica Piedes, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants.
And I'm Tyler Coe, and I represent the side of the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
Always living in the past, Tyler. We're in the offseason. Dominoes are falling, baby. It is just pow, 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 pow. Everyone's signing. LeMahieu, gone. Springer, gone. Brantley to the Blue Jays. No, the Astros, gone.
Things are finally happening, for Christ's sake. They must have listened to the podcast last week and heard me complain.
Exactly. All it took was another president for all this stuff to start falling, apparently. And people are giving like these MLB reporters such a hard time for they're just getting the information. Maybe I'd be mad if I was a Blue Jays fan. Honestly, I'd be kind of pissed because I'd be like, yeah, we got Brantley.
I would be real upset.
Yeah. So maybe I'm just because we don't sign anyone big. So
the Blue Jays don't, sure they could use him, of course.
Yeah.
But they need to spend money on pitching.
Yeah.
They need pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Blue Jays fans, thank your lucky stars that you saved an AAV of like $16 million for the next 2 years.
I don't know. I feel like he would be worth it. I think he's a better player than George Springer. I'd rather have Michael Brantley than George Springer. That's
maybe. I don't know.
That's just blind looking. Maybe I just have a stain because of the whole trash can thing. I don't know. This is without me.
You better get over it. You better get over it. Because guess who's going to be your starting shortstop after next season? Carlos Correa. I guarantee it.
Damn, then I'd have to be like, yeah, ooh.
Yeah, there's a prediction for you 2 years in the future.
I doubt it. I would think they would go the least profile of the shortstops. I think maybe Trevor Story is a lot more likely. But the Giants did sign somebody. It was one Alex Wood. Woody. Yeah, man. Another lefty starter. Not the one that I was hoping for, but you know what? Welcome aboard, man. I feel like Farhan hasn't made a bad signing yet, so I'm all for it. $3 million, just $3 million in incentives. A little weird that it's not based on starts. It's based on 10
outs.
There we go. 10 outings. Which tells me that they are probably going to use an opener with him, or maybe do that idea that we were talking about last week about 4 innings, maybe with Logan Webb,
and
4 innings with him.
Yeah,
I like that idea more than the opener, like I've said before.
As a Dodger fan, kind of sad to see Alex Wood go. I don't really feel like he ever panned out to be what they wanted him to be, and obviously, I don't think the Braves felt that either, which is why they were able to let him go. But I think it's a good signing for the Giants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Right,
he was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was supposed to be the ace at the time. But I think it's a good signing for the Giants. I definitely don't think the Dodgers could have really used him.
Yeah, they would have put him in the. He has now an opening to start, or bulk inning, whatever. So especially with a team that needs a lefty starter or a lefty bulk guy, however you want to, phrase it or whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like if the Giants give him consistent starts or consistent bulk innings, he might be able to do some good. So good for him. Don't have anything against the guy. He was a big part of the World Series for us. So
Yeah, didn't have a great year.
He caught on somewhere.
But he did have a good postseason, and he's always been pretty solid. Not someone that's going to start your rotation, but at times can be a really solid 2 or 3 guy. 2 on our rotation because our rotation last year has been pretty shot. But maybe like a solid 3 or 4 type guy, and that's what they're paying him for. And yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, definitely not. The Dodgers haven't done shit. Which is weird because I thought once LeMahieu went, Turner would be gone in the next day or 2.
Yeah, that's right. They want that righty bat.
Yeah, I still think the Dodgers are going to sign him, but I think they're just at odds over the years, over the length of the contract. I definitely don't want to sign him for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If he's willing to take 2, I think that would be great. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, there is a team making a lot of moves in the NL West. Padres picked up another starter. I mean, how many fucking starters do you need? I guess they gave away one, and Lucchesi, someone that did really well against the Giants, but I don't know. Musgrove, I feel like, is going to do some damage too in the NL West. So I don't know, man. That rotation is pretty damn good.
No, it is good, but I think the Lucchesi and Musgrove, I feel like it's pretty even swap. I don't think they got better or worse necessarily.
I think for sure they got better. I mean, I don't think they got Miles. He's obviously not a Blake Snell top of the rotation guy unless you're in Pittsburgh. But yeah. I mean, his underlying numbers are extremely good. And when you're, asked to be the number 4 guy, I feel like he's probably going to be the best number 4 guy in all of baseball. So,
yeah,
who do you think is a better number 4 guy?
David Price could be our number 4 this season.
Who would be your number 3 then?
Julio Urias. He could be the number 3.
I would say
or
David
if you swap the 2.
Yeah, but Urias hasn't even started a full year, okay? And I'm sorry to talk shit, Dodger fans. I'm sorry, but it's true. He hasn't started a full year. You can't expect him to be better than David Price. You just can't do that.
Or, if we sign Trevor Bauer, David Price is definitely our number 4.
Here we go. Coming back to the Trevor Bauer balls in your mouth. Okay. At first it was, yeah, I love him. Then it was like, fuck him. I don't even care anymore.
I don't. I think we'll be just fine without him. But I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's no really need except for the replacement of Turner. And even then you could even replace him in-house for you if you had to. But I doubt they're going to do that. They're going to at least get somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, the biggest thing is the dominoes are starting to fall. Hopefully Realmuto and Bauer sign somewhere in the next couple weeks. Just kind of put this whole thing to bed. But
dominoes are falling. Text messages are falling. Our friends over there in the East Coast are having a little bit of trouble. Their GM Dick Porter is a little bit of heat, and I really don't want to, touch too much on it because everyone's already talked about it. But there's always somebody who has to say something back, right? And the thing is they're always trying to blame, they shouldn't have fired him for this. This was 5 years ago. What was she doing? Texting him and, not just blocking his number if she really didn't want to continue talking to him. First of all, it's no one's job to block anybody. Okay. You should take the hint. It's so outlandish to be like, don't send your dick. Like that's crazy that you would have to say something.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know what gets me the most though is the whole blocking thing. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's no one's job to block someone. But that argument of why didn't she block someone? To me, that's the equivalent argument of, well, you shouldn't have worn that.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't have been raped if you wore that. It's the same argument. So like these
that's sexual harassment. Like I honestly I had to look for it. Like anyone on my feed, I didn't hear the foot drop anywhere that anyone I knew or anyone in baseball that I saw. So like it's something that someone posted like got the comments. So then I went to a post and I saw, oh, what's wrong with second chances? Dude abused his power to try to like, to basically hold over a girl's head like, hey, let's hook, like, and you can't blame her for not blocking him. I mean, solely because that's just a piece of shit thing to do. But second of all, that was her job, a way to get information, and she was trying not to burn a bridge. and she didn't want to come out because she was scared about losing her job, which is a huge problem in any industry, let alone baseball industry, it's controlled by men. But it's just ridiculous. There should be no other, like, I know, there's two sides to every story. There's always the other foot's got to drop. There should be no other foot's dropping here.
Right. The thing that got me, though, is, I mean, it took, 12, 14 hours for the Mets to fire him. Mm-hmm. I'm satisfied with how quickly they took care of it, but I did see a lot of people giving Steve Cohen shit, saying like, oh, it took you 12 hours. And to a degree, I don't want to say there's two sides to – I mean, there are two sides to every story, but, like, you have to gather some facts. You can't just hear someone say something and boom, okay, like you're fired. I think that's an adequate amount of time. And once they had all the information they felt they needed, they fired him. They did the right thing.
Yeah, and I don't think – and to me it was like, hey, we learned about it midday, and they fired him the next morning. And I guarantee you they didn't fire him the next morning. I guarantee you, I mean, you would have to
just when it was reported.
Exactly. So, like, I guarantee you, I mean, in all aspects, we got to give someone the benefit of the doubt of someone like Steve Cohen, obviously not Dick Porter, but what's someone called? You got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to be like, hey, I'm going to call this guy and tell him, hey, I didn't know about this. This is terrible. I don't want you representing my organization.
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And I would like to believe that it wasn't a conversation like, hey, explain to me, kind of. It was, hey, these are the facts that we've gathered. We know this is what happened. You're fucking done.
No, I wanted a Generation X. Hey, suck it. You out, bitch.
Yeah. I'm all for second chances, but there are some things that just don't deserve a second chance. So
an abuse of power like that, and it also goes to the way of baseball being like, if a white dude gets a position, it's always like, well, I mean, he had a position in baseball, he's going to work his way up. But anytime someone of color or a woman gets a position, it's like, what are her qualifications? We need to see it. Like, no.
Yeah, someone I saw on Twitter posted, the Marlins GM, Kim Ng, had 30 years in baseball before she got the GM position. This guy is a piece of shit and has been in baseball for half that time, less than half that time. And, when he gets it, everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. And it turns out he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So,
and if I'm not mistaken, it sucks because I'll be honest with you, I didn't read the article. I saw what I needed to see, and I was like, I don't need to hear more. This guy's a piece of shit. I don't need to feed into it. I'm done, But from what I've read, the Cubs might have known about it, because that's what happened when he was part of the Cubs organization. And if the Cubs wouldn't have known about it and they didn't tell, because obviously there had to be a reference, and they didn't say anything to the Mets, that's fucked up. If the Mets knew about it and didn't and hired him anyways, that's very fucked up. But yeah, that's a whole different story that we don't need to get all the way into.
Yeah, unfortunately, this week, another Dodger, another baseball legend, Don Sutton, passed away at the age of 75. This year is just, picking up where 2020 left off. Still absolute shit. So, super sad. Condolences go out to his family. Just the Dodger
doesn't mean anything from us, but we'll give them anyways. But.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on something I said last week about Tommy Lasorda. I think people might have gotten the impression that I thought Tommy Lasorda was just a piece of shit, and I don't. I think he made a huge mistake in his life, with his son, but I don't think that discredits things he did in the community. And after last week, hearing all these stories, and it was especially Chan-Ho Park, put out a statement about what Tommy Lasorda meant to him and what he did for baseball at large in the community. So I just wanted to set that record straight that, I think the man made a mistake and he, did some pretty horrible things, with his decision on how he treated his family members. But I don't think that discredits him as far as what he did for the community and what he did for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I
respect in baseball should stay the same.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear, just in case anyone got the wrong idea.
Yeah, let's get happy, Dodger fans. We got you someone to be really excited about. We're excited to talk to him.
And now welcoming in a new friend of the podcast, Dodgers #1 prospect, Josiah Gray. Josiah, thanks for coming on, man. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Chop it up a little bit. And, just tell a little bit about myself and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think we like to pride ourselves on not taking things so seriously and asking, some questions that might be a little bit outside the box, but we'll kind of get to those.
Yeah, we'll let you be the judge of that. I mean, we might think it's out of the box, but then you're like, dude, these guys are fucking stupid, dude.
First out of the box question: do you like baseball? We don't have to touch on it too much because everyone pretty much knows that you're a converted shortstop, obviously a pitcher now. Yeah. But being a converted shortstop and being able to hit in college, I know you were a closer for a bit in college as well, but you'd start the game as a shortstop. Are you super bummed that now when you're about to crack the big league roster that the universal DH might be here to stay and you'll never get that opportunity to hit?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of the things I think about. I'm like, man, is this going to be like the last year where I get a chance to even get in that bat? Or is it like what's going to happen? Because I had 4 at-bats in AA in 2019, but then I was like, okay, like you can kind of look forward to it. Like even in spring training, we would have some BP and bunting practice and stuff. But now it's like the universal DH is going to be a thing. So those opportunities just might not be there a year from now.
Yeah, and speaking of which, so when you were part of the player pool in SC, because the universal DH was in place last season, did they even give you guys a chance to hit, or is it just you guys pitch, do your in-between days, and that's kind of it?
Yeah, exactly that. It was you show up to the field, do whatever you got to do for the day, and then your pitching day, you pitched, and then you kept it pushing I think we were there for 2 months. So it was there for 2 months. None of us pitchers picked up a bat. There was no pitchers BP. There was no kind of aspect of that even being a thought. It's just pitch, throw the ball.
So you're getting really set up to fail then, if it does stay at least for the year.
I think I'll be all right. There's some times like this offseason when I've hit with my friends back home that are still playing college ball, because that's what we grew up doing. But other than that, I'm like, it'll obviously be difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's something we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely going to be set up better than some of these other guys that have been a only pitcher since high school.
For sure.
So you'll at least have that advantage.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt like as a pitcher, I don't know, especially now with the DH, you just want to get that one hit out of the way. I mean, don't you feel like you just want to get that one hit just to have the ball and say, like, I at least got one major league hit?
Yeah, exactly. I think every pitcher, if you grow up or go through the system of the NL system, you always have that thought, like, man, if I make it to the big leagues, I'm going to have some big league at-bats one time. So you want to think about, man, that first hit and be like, okay, this is how I think it's going to play out. Probably won't play out like that. But you always think about that. But now, universal DH being a thing that's going to come in a year or two, it's kind of a dream that's just not going to happen for a lot of guys. But, we get paid to throw the ball and not swing the bat.
Is it acceptable for a pitcher to bat flip if it's not a home run?
Man, I would say no.
Okay.
I don't know. I really haven't. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher bat flip. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like Zach Greinke's follow through just looks like a bat flip. Maybe.
True. He does have some flair to it. I mean, hey, if you hold your own up there and that it's not like a one and done sort of thing, then do what you got to do, I guess.
Oh, I wouldn't care. Even if I was the worst hitting pitcher in the world and I hit one, that bat would be 2 inches from the dugout. I'd toss that thing so goddamn far it wouldn't even be funny.
Bunt single.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, if the universal DH stays, hopefully you guys get in a 2018 World Series scenario where 18 innings, you didn't start that day or weren't in the pen. They bring you from the bench, hit a little walk off.
Well, even last year, I think it's like if your backup catcher has to come in for a certain reason, I think the DH goes away. No.
If you hit for, or you bring your DH into the field, then the pitcher slot becomes a fielder, becomes a hitter. I believe.
I guess that's what happens when you watch NL baseball your whole life.
If you double switch and bring the DH into the field, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So there's hope.
There's hope. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm one of those baseball purists, I guess. I just love National League Baseball. I don't want the DH. Seems like a lot of people have flipped on it and they're okay with it now, which is a bummer.
I'm a flip-flopper for sure. After seeing it, I'm a flip-flopper. Yeah, there's no way.
So, talking about USC, do you feel like the player pool, the summer camp, whatever we want to call it, do you feel like it was an equivalent to a minor league season, or was it better for development for a minor league season, or did it kind of miss the mark?
I think seeing that the situation we were in, it was sort of tough for it to replicate a minor league season just because you're not facing different teams. There sort of isn't a progression level, I guess you could say. It was either USC or the big leagues, but our big league team, extremely, extremely successful last year. So it definitely took away from that sort of aspect of just going out and competing every outing. But I think it was really beneficial that you got to see a lot of different guys at different points in their careers. We had guys like Bobby Miller, first-round draft picks. You had guys like myself, a phone call away, Keibert Ruiz, Gavin Lux, DJ Peters, 40-man guys. Then you had guys like Anthony Garcia or Edibre Ramos, or even AJ Ramos, who was with us for a little bit. So veteran guys, and you had just a lot of different guys just culminating into one group, and everyone obviously had the same goal, but everyone was at a different point in their career. And it was just really fun to see everyone go out there and compete against their own teammates and sort of just try to create that aspect of competition and rivalry as best as you could, even though it wasn't able to mirror what a real minor league season would have been.
Right. Yeah. Did you guys ever do anything, I don't know, for lack of a better word, fun? Because I don't know, especially in your situation, being a hitter, not being able to hit after a day, I would be like, let's play some over the line, or let's do something. Just let me get a damn bat in my hand and let me do something with it. Did anything like that ever happen?
No, I wish. Every day was pretty much business as usual. We would have an off day here and there, depending on what the big league team was doing and whatever our schedule was as a group. There were some times we would practice or scrimmage or whatever was going on at Dodger Stadium for that day. So that was obviously fun. But beyond that, we didn't really have much fun, I guess. It was kind of just go to the ballpark, get your work in. If you're, yeah. Go to the ballpark, get the work in.
And talking about I guess that whole situation, the summer camp, I saw a video in one of your summer camp starts where Corey Seager almost took your head off. Was it something that you had to kind of shake off, or was it just kind of that kind of happens?
Yeah, it was kind of really scary. But yeah, it's something you just got to shake off. It's sheesh, that almost killed me. And looking at the video after the game, I was like, wow, that was friggin'
super
hard hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just something you got to shake off, and you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta still get outs. I gotta still get these guys out, and you can't really like pitch with the fear of that, because I think if you do, it really messes up your game, and that's just something I never really want to think about too intently, because pitching is already hard enough. Yeah. So I want to keep it as simple as I can, and try to think about the least amount of things as possible.
How many years in do you need to like check Corey Seager for like, hey, bro, don't be doing that again?
No, I don't think that'll ever happen. I think we're both too more on the quiet side and sort of in the way we get our work done. So that's probably not going to happen. But he's as talented as ever.
So this is just something I kind of thought of since we're talking about, comebackers. I saw a few years ago that they were kind of demoing, I think a guy on the Yankees or the Rays was wearing it, the super padded hats. Do either of you remember this or ever seen that?
Oh, yeah. There was a guy on the Padres who had it for sure. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever –
Mario hat.
Yeah. They look goofy as hell. And I can't imagine – it would be comfortable using one while you're pitching. I think like it would just throw off your equilibrium because it's so damn big and bulky. But have you ever seen anyone wear those? Have you ever tried one yourself?
No, I've never really seen them. I've seen it in the person we've mentioned before, but I could see an idea of that working where you sort of put like the Evo Shield protective material in your hat. And like throw it in like the front flaps and the side flaps, and I don't think it'd be too bulky. Kind of like form fitting. I might have just made Evil Shield $1 million idea.
I can't believe no one's tried yet, though. I mean, that's like
patent pending. There,
we need to go to Shark Tank with this. All three of us, we need to really get on the same page here. Put our money in.
I think that could work. But no, I think that's something that could work. I've never seen it to this point yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to give you guys props because I had a pitch on my slow pitch softball team, and I was like, okay, where's my catcher's mask? I want some, knee guards. Like, I'm not fucking around. I don't want to die out there on the softball field.
Tyler's pretty much on that level. He's like, the slow pitch rec league.
I mean, I'm like
right there by the major leagues.
Yeah, I obviously know exactly what you've been through because I play slow pitch softball. We're on the same level, I guess you could say. So speaking of, the highest level, I mean, it's no secret that the Dodgers rotation is stacked, and until, the Padres did their thing, might have been the best in baseball, still might be the best in baseball, but that's obviously up for debate. How comfortable would you feel, especially this year, if you crack the major league roster as a bullpen piece? Do you feel like that takes any more adjustment mentally for you? Obviously, since you were a closer in college, you kind of have that mentality already. But is it just like a light switch, like you can flick it and you are bullpen mentality versus starter mentality, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think it definitely would take some time just because, I've been a starter since 2018. But obviously it'd be something I'd be open to do. And I think the team would obviously prepare me for that if that was the case. So whatever happens. But, whatever role they want to throw me into, I'll be prepared for, whether it be the bullpen, spot starting, whatever it may be. But I'll be ready for whatever and kind of just have to adjust as the season goes on and kind of just take every day as planned and as, as prescribed by the coaching staff.
So speaking of which, we've covered it for the past couple of weeks that there doesn't seem to be a lot of direction from the top down as far as the commissioner saying, plan on 162 game season, plan on spring training. There's no definitive kind of direction at the moment. So what has the team been telling you, if you can share? Is it plan on spring training and just keep doing your off-season work and plan on, the middle of February pitchers and catchers reporting, or are they just kind of preparing you for all different kind of scenarios?
Yeah. So I know as much as, the casual fan that when Rob Manfred said prepare for the regular season to be on time, spring training to be on time, that's what we were told. So we're kind of just preparing for that and just going to adjust with whatever happens in terms of whatever MLB wants to do and, the state of the virus, because obviously Arizona and Florida are sort of hotspots right now in terms of cases and whatnot. So I'm sure that the league and the Players Association are kind of just trying to assess the risks right now and try to make the best decisions possible for us to, continue to start the season safely.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens because, as we've noted on the show before, I tend to be a little bit more negative, and I don't know if the season's gonna start.
Come on, guys!
I hope to God that it does, but it is what it is.
It's all gonna come together. It's gonna work out.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought last year, and I mean, it obviously did work out eventually, but
Yeah.
So Jesse kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the exhibition game against the Angels. Well, we were talking about summer camp games, but specifically the exhibition game against the Angels. Mm-hmm. What was it like facing Mike Trout?
This is probably
second or third batter in, just Mike Trout walks up to the plate. What's going on in your head?
Yeah, this is probably the most asked question I've gotten since I've been home. It's the best hitter on the planet. So just kind of prepared for that and didn't want to stray from my attack though, and just kind of going right at him. But yeah, it's definitely kind of like surreal feeling because obviously I'm a huge baseball fan as you guys are. And, seeing that guy in the box and me actually throwing those pitches, definitely like, wow, you've made it to this point where you're facing Mike Trout,
right?
Albeit in a summer camp game, but it was definitely
you're still
cool
facing Mike Trout. Don't downplay it.
Yeah.
You're still facing Mike Trout. That's still huge.
Yeah, still very cool, and I'm sure we're gonna have future matchups and kind of just build on that. So that'll hopefully become more of a regular thing, and every matchup will be just as intense, just as meaningful.
And when you talk about matchups and not deviating from your plan, are you one of those guys that you go more on what you do well versus what does the hitter not do well? So you kind of just keep your plan of attack, for all hitters more or less, rather than, okay, I know this guy can't hit a breaking ball, I'm going to throw him 3 pitches in the dirt. Are you more of a stay with your plan of attack kind of guy?
Yeah, so sort of both. I guess you can say, like, I know what I do well, but then we also have like scouting reports on every hitter. So learning what they don't do well, what they do well, along with what I do well, and knowing what I might not do as well. So just tailoring it with each strength and weakness and trying to like formulate a plan is probably the best way I go about my business, and probably a lot of the staff, the Dodger staff as well.
So staying in that same game, you face Mike Trout, you walk him, he dribbles one to third, you get him out. And, we're talking about the best hitter in baseball right now. But let's talk about one of the best hitters in baseball generationally and maybe 10 years ago.
Do you just almost throw up right now?
No. My dog, this wind is killing me. My allergies are shit right now.
I felt like we just saw maybe an insect just falling. I keep
having to mute myself and clear my throat because my drink's gone.
Wow.
Anywho, speaking of generational hitters, you struck out Albert Pujols and Shohei Ohtani in that game. And I know I don't know, maybe some people might consider it Bush League, but did you keep the ball? Because I would have kept both those fucking balls.
No, I didn't. I really even wasn't thinking about keeping the ball after either of those punch-outs or any out in general. I kind of just kept it pushing. But, thinking about it now, it's like, man, I could have kept that ball, had it written up a little bit, but, I'm excited for the future and to do those things sort of regularly. And kind of not try to blow up one moment over the other, but obviously still really cool. And, looking back on it, I kind of wish I might have even thought about that.
You know what you should do? You should just screen cap the YouTube video of Pujols striking out, and then the Freeway Series before the season starts this year, just bring it over to him. Be like, hey, man, can you sign this? Remember that time that I struck you out and made you look like an idiot? This is no big deal, but if you could sign it, that would be super cool.
It's almost like, have you ever watched Eastbound and Down when Kenny Powers had his
like the first episode?
Oh, okay. Well, Kenny Powers makes this this video that he sends to teams to try to get it. You could just make your own video and just make people watch it when they come into your house and stuff. I mean, I'm sure people would think that's totally normal.
No, if I ever did that, I would be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, exactly.
If I ever mustered up the courage, and then that would shoot me right back down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, be like, hey, are you a fan that got to be on the field for a day, or what's going on here?
Why are you here?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, spring training is theoretically coming up in a month for pitchers and catchers. What do you think it's going to be like being in that locker room at Camelback with, all these guys who you may have a relationship with already, but now that they're all World Series champions and have kind of set the tone with, they got over the hump, and now this is kind of the new expectation. They want to be there every year. Do you think the atmosphere in the locker room is going to be a little bit different than years past?
I think it'll be definitely a lot more, how do I say it? Guys know what it takes and what it feels like to win that World Series. Everyone has spoke about, Mookie's speech at the start of camp, and kind of how he talked about going about your day's work and whatever. And kind of I think those speeches will become more prevalent just because we know what it's like. And for the guys that were, in the thick of it, this is a feeling that probably can't be topped. So in the game, so you want to be able to do that and kind of just have that feeling felt throughout the 26 guys on the roster, the remaining guys on the 40-man roster, and then non-roster invites as well. So I think it'll be a really good time whenever camp is, and it'll really be a feeling of just going out there and wanting to repeat and knowing that we have the tools in place to do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because I was thinking about that today, because I remember when it was reported that Mookie, came into camp and kind of made his speech. A lot of people were like, that's not how you do things. You're kind of new here. And hindsight being 2020, now you can look back and be like, obviously it did something, and now you're going to have 20-something guys that can all speak to what Mookie was speaking to, and, maybe David Price. Now you're going to have 20-something guys that can all corroborate his speech saying yeah, this is how you get there. And this is something, this is a feeling you're never going to forget. This is the pinnacle of being a Major League Baseball player. Cool. So it's funny just because, when people were really shitting on Mookie saying this isn't how you do things, my take was always, well, how can you say that? None of you have been there. We haven't gotten over that hump before. So let's let him do this and see what happens. Yeah, exactly. What can it hurt?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was funny that, now everyone can look back and be like, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have, talked down to that. But
yeah. Being in the locker room for that, I didn't know if it was a regular occurrence or if it was just a random thing that always happened or something. And, just feeling that, and I think it was the first or second day he was there, and him to just speak up in that way, and, coming over to us and kind of just saying we have as much talent as any other team in the league, and to go out and just act like we do. I'm sure it resonated with a lot of guys in that clubhouse, and it resonated with me because one of our coordinators, Jamie Wright, longtime big league veteran. He kind of pulled me over to the side like an hour or two after that and said, "Hey, you're probably never going to see a speech or hear a speech like that ever again." And that, I was like, damn. And then looking at it, 9 months later, you're like, geez, it's crazy how, we set our minds to it and started thinking about it, and then look at where we are now, 9-10 months later.
Yeah. And, obviously I can't speak to it because I don't know Mookie personally, and I've never been around him, but he seems like a pretty soft-spoken guy. He doesn't seem like the kind of raw guy that, would be kind of doing that in the locker room. But I think that kind of makes it that much more important is you have this soft-spoken guy who's the highest caliber baseball player, arguably the second best baseball player in the world, coming in and immediately setting that tone. I feel like everyone has to listen. So all these outside people that say like, this isn't how you do it, I'm sure everyone else in the locker room kind of felt the way that you did, where, he just kind of commands the listening of everyone else, and has this aura about him because of who he is. So that totally makes sense to me. And I wish I could have been in there to hear that speech, but I gotta watch the Dodgers win a World Series, and that's good enough for me.
I'll like it's that. like Big Daddy, when the guy was was it Big Daddy when he's like just with the soap and shit, and like in the locker room. That's how you're gonna sneak. You're gonna have to sneak in and pretend to be somebody else. So that's basically what I'm getting at. I just said a really shitty way.
Yeah.
Whatever. Adam Sandler movie. Same thing.
Maybe it'll be on Backstage Dodgers one day.
Yeah.
Or
I hope so.
Maybe it already is. I don't know.
It's not. I've watched every episode this season, and it wasn't, unfortunately.
But you were on the taxi squad during that time. Were you like? Did you get any time? Did you touch the World Series trophy? I guess is what I'm trying to build up to.
Oh yeah.
You got some time with it.
Yeah, I was probably the last person to touch it and get a picture with it.
But you got one. That's all that matters.
I got the contributors got their pictures, and then I was like, "Hey, let me take a picture with this."
Gosh,
have you lobbied to try to get a ring and be like, "Hey, look, there were some guys that were on the roster that were at USC, and I'm working with them. It takes a village. I feel like I would be lobbying for a ring, being like, listen, guys, come on."
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not too caught up on that. Obviously, we won the whole thing, and obviously wish to be a bigger part of it. But I think even being there on the taxi squad, I got to see it, and I got to try to understand what it takes day in, day out in the playoffs to win the whole thing, come back from 3-1, you name it. So I'm not going to get caught up on this one. I want to, be a bigger part of the next couple and kind of just build off that.
Talking about just leaving, big marks on the game. Is there something that you want to do as far as in the game or even outside the game where you want to leave your mark on it?
For sure. I think the biggest thing I've put out there thus far is saying I want to continue to kind of just gear or influence, young Black athletes to want to pick up baseball and try to get into higher levels of baseball, because we all know Little League is great, but where kids get priced out of baseball is travel ball and all the price tags that are attached to that. So, I just want to eventually give back and try to just encourage other Black kids to get into baseball. And I think that's the grassroots are kind of being put in right now with the Players Alliance, which I really love to see. But then, 10 years down the road, 5 years, whatever it may be, I want to, be able to start something of my own and kind of just have my own little group that I just, nurture to want to play higher levels of baseball and just increase the amount of, Black kids that are in baseball and that are interested in baseball, and whether it be playing, front office, scouting, even, just around the game, because it's a game I've grown up to love. And I think a lot of kids can grow up to love it as well if they see like all it has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always it's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say, when you're talking about travel ball pricing people out. And, that's something even, I remember as a kid, because you always had winter ball at the place our little league. And that competition was terrible because all the good kids would go play travel ball. And I remember I only got to play one season and it's just way too expensive. I mean, do you think a better answer may be kind of fostering better talent and keeping them put, I guess you could say, like, creating a little league that's serves the community, that doesn't price people out because it isn't travel ball and it is a community effort? Do you feel like that may be part of the solution as well?
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the solutions, because I know a lot of like states have like American Legion ball or things of that nature, or like Cal Ripken, Babe Ruth. But I think it's when you get to that age of like 13, 14, where you start hearing of like perfect game tournaments and you start to question, is this the only way I'm going to get seen to go play college baseball? Then it's like, is my American Legion team going to, give me the best opportunity, or am I better off playing travel ball? So then kids are like kind of balancing between the two. And then it's like travel ball gets so expensive, and it's definitely something that needs work for sure.
Yeah. And especially something I didn't even think about, all these kids nowadays have personal pitching coaches, hitting coaches, all these personal lessons by the time they're 10 years old too, which is, I'm sure, even more expensive than travel ball. Absolutely. So if you add that on top of a kid playing travel ball, I mean, I could definitely see how the competition, is leaps and bounds better at the travel ball route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really a really expensive game if you want to be really good, if you don't have the finances to sort of have those resources, because you got to think about travel ball and, like you said, private lessons and travel to those travel ball tournaments and hotels and transportation and food and cleats, and it really adds up.
Yeah, just, like, no wonder my parents cut me off after one season. It all makes sense now when I stop and think about it.
You suck anyways, Tyler. I ain't gonna pay for this shit anymore.
I was grateful to grow up. I played on a really local team, and we just enjoyed playing ball, and it was something that kept us all playing, and the costs were alleviated somewhat for us, so it really definitely kept my love of the game, because I had those influences in my life, and that's kind of where I get my want to give back to other Black kids that were in my position to go out there and continue to play the game they love, and just aspire to play in college and levels beyond college, professional.
Is there, I mean, we obviously know that the Players Alliance, they're working on solutions like this. Is there any organization right now that you know of that, we can link to, spread the word, that's kind of putting these things into motion that already exist?
Yeah, I think Players Alliance is probably the biggest one right now that comes to the top of my head. But obviously, I'm trying to find new just outlets that are helping out African-American kids pretty much daily. So, obviously I'll continue to speak on it as long as I play this game. And I think the Players Alliance is probably going to spark a lot more initiatives that come out through this country, and people giving back to Black communities and trying to get more Black kids to play ball.
I think that's the best way to make the game better and grow it, is to not make money an issue. if there's ways to either raise money or just, create leagues that are very cost effective, you find people who love the game that want to play it, versus just rich kids who sometimes are even forced into playing. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no kid shouldn't be able to play because they can't afford it. And then no kid should be priced out of playing the game. No. Yeah.
Just if they suck like Tyler, then that probably should be.
Yeah, because I was so terrible. You're right. Yeah, fuck you.
I was fucking awesome in high school. Now, all right. Well, Josiah, dude, thank you so much for giving us your time, man. We end off with these it's kind of like rapid fire. It's like slow pitch, though, is what we call it, because if you say something a little whacked out, we might come out of pocket. We might have to press you a little bit.
All right.
We don't take no shit.
Yeah. Okay. So a show that you're currently binging right now.
Stranger Things. I'm actually catching up on now.
Respectable. I can respect that.
What part are you in? What season are you in?
Season 3, episode 2. So I started an episode like a week ago, and I have to continue.
Yeah, I feel like that one, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 3 seasons, right?
Don't blow it for him. You're gonna blow it.
I'm not gonna blow it.
I'm just saying. Season 3 where this happens? Oh shit! That was the season finale. My bad.
Yeah. No. I'm just thinking I think it was season 1 was good. Season 2 was this is kind of weird, but season 3 was really good, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I look forward.
Something to look forward to if you were getting down on season 2, because I think that's where I was. Yeah. And I feel like we're on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you guys are best friends.
Yeah, we're you're going up for karaoke. What's the song you're singing?
Oh boy, karaoke. Oh God.
If you're feeling froggy, you can give us a little taste. Right here, right live.
I'm not doing that.
Bear in mind, you might have a couple cocktails in you or whatever you need to feel, some courage. So you're going all out for this karaoke song.
I go Dream On just because growing up, that was the track on Guitar Hero, and I love playing Guitar Hero. So I'll go Dream On.
That's a tough song. There are some high notes in that song.
Yes, I would do terrible, but that's what comes to mind.
I can respect if you're that.
Terrible, you gotta go all out. If you're a terrible singer, you can't go a middle range and you just try to squeak through. You just gotta go. You gotta just commit. And then you'll get some respect. I heard that you have a playlist before you, to get you pumped up for every start. Is there something on there that would surprise some people? Maybe like a guilty pleasure type song?
No, it's mostly rap. There an occasional rock song here and there, but it's mostly rap. So I wouldn't say any guilty pleasures.
What are your top 3 songs on that playlist?
Oh man, you guys are grilling me. I can give you top 3 artists. I'm not really good with songs off the top of my head. I'll give you Travis Scott, NBA YoungBoy, who's known for just making people crazy, making people go wild.
It's the young DMX. All right, I can get that behind that.
And I'll put Future up there, just because who doesn't like Future?
So, because you said Travis Scott, are you a fan of Kid Cudi?
Oh yeah, I love Kid Cudi.
What do you think of Man on the Moon 3? Because I think it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Everything he's put out since Man on the Moon 2 sucked, in my opinion. But Man on the Moon 3, I think, is a masterpiece. A lot of people don't think that, but seems like you and I are on the same wavelength. We're best friends, not you and Jesse.
We're on ourselves on you. That's what it is.
I'm a big fan. I have to give it another playthrough, but so far I think I played through it twice. It's it hasn't disappointed either time.
Make sure you listen extra carefully to Solo Dolo 3. It's a masterpiece. Anyways, Jesse, what's your next question?
Okay, you get a home run off of anyone, and remember, you got to pimp the thing. So, and this thing's 500 feet. Who is that guy? And also, you get to strike out anyone in the world. Who is that guy?
Okay. So I get to hit a dinger off anyone.
Anyone.
We're past or present?
Past or present. Okay.
Yes.
I'll do past. I'll do Dontrell Willis. D-Train.
Ooh, the D-Train.
Yeah. Just because he's so funky, was so unhittable early on. And, if you're hitting the ball 500 plus feet off him, which he could do back to me, you gotta you gotta bat flip it and then punch out anyone, past or present. Man, Barry Bonds. It doesn't get any better than that. So
it
to be able to punch
doesn't.
him out,
that is the best answer we've ever had.
Yes,
I love it.
Well, I'll take that as a sign of respect. So I do like that. Another question: Barry Bonds, Hall of Famer, see or no?
Yes.
I like that answer too.
just one word, yes.
Be on the same page about that. Favorite cereal. This has been a heated topic with everyone we've had on the show. Favorite cereal.
I think I'll go with Captain Crunch. Just
flexible.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like,
do you not respect the roof of your mouth whatsoever? Because you clearly don't.
Dude, laugh now, cry later.
Really
like, that is bro.
What do you guys like? Do you not like Captain Crunch?
Oh, I love Captain Crunch. I
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is number one.
It's worth it.
Cinnamon
Toast Crunch is number one.
The milk after is unbelievable.
Oh
yeah, it's basically
just like Cocoa Puffs, same thing. What's your hottest food take?
Hottest
like
food
most
take?
Most controversial food take.
Oh man.
And there's one wrong answer, so hopefully you don't say that wrong
answers.
I think we probably have the biggest thing on all of our minds is pineapple it's supposed to be on pizza or not. That's probably the biggest one, right?
Yeah, I would say
that's
so.
That's not mine. Mine's whether or not you think In-N-Out's overrated.
Oh,
because it's not overrated.
I can answer both. So in terms of In-N-Out, the burgers.
Be careful now. You have to play in LA now. Let's
I know. The burgers are great. The fries need some work.
Yeah,
they need some work.
I would agree.
Animal style, they're okay.
Yeah.
And on the pizza topic, I'm so cut in the middle because I've had good pizzas with pineapple on it, but then I have a regular sauce. I'm a big sausage slice fan. I have a regular sausage slice, and I'm like, this is just as good. So I'm 50-50. If there's pineapple on pizza, sure, I'll try it. But, if sausage is there as well, I'm going to have that as well. So 50-50, probably going to get a lot of shit for that. But
man, you're going to have a career in politics. No, I agree with this side and this side.
No, the thing, I completely agree with you with the In-N-Out thing. It just goes to show you that the burgers are that good that it's like, well, the fries aren't that good, but man, I mean, it's better than not having fries at all.
Yeah, but you're not going to go to Five Guys and pay $30 for a burger and fries.
Exactly.
Rip off.
Yeah.
Would you drive to two different food places to get what you want, though?
No.
Probably.
I'm that fat. Yes, I would. But
yeah,
I like
that. Probably, yeah.
Sometimes you want a shake from Jack in the Box, but you want an In-N-Out burger, because you want some Oreos up in that thing.
Say you want, I don't know, a meal from Chipotle, and then you want to finish off with some ice cream. I see no problem with that.
See, but that's different because I feel like that's dessert and dinner.
Yeah,
I'm talking like going to McDonald's to get a burger and then going to, I don't know, fucking Wendy's to get fries. Like, I don't like that. If you had to pick one movie that is your favorite, you only get one. What is your favorite movie of all time?
The Dark Knight.
Solid.
First one.
Yeah,
first one.
Oh, the first one. Oh no, you're talking about Dark Knight versus Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, because that was Batman
Joker.
Begins, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Batman Begins was the first that showed. I got so confused.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Heath Ledger. Yep.
I remember I saw that movie late, and I was like, dude, people are playing this up because I mean, no disrespect to Heath Ledger, but it was like they're playing this up because he died, yada yada yada. But then I finally saw it and I was like, "Fuck, dude, he really did kill that shit." So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. That was a great movie, but I think the new Batman, the one with Robert Pattinson, that one looks pretty damn good. You know, obviously not like those Ben Affleck trash movies, because no one saw those.
You're like you're Edward, motherfucker. That's what you are.
Yeah, right. Team Edward. That's pretty much all I got. Josiah, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully you didn't mind Jesse being here, because we get a lot of complaints. But man, thanks for coming on, sharing your time, and it was fun. Hopefully we'll see you on the big league roster. Hopefully we'll be able to see it in person this year, but we'll see what science and all that dictates.
Yeah, we'll see. But I appreciate you guys, and this is fun, and hope to do it again, sometime down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. This week's episode was brought to you by Renovation Candle Company. As always, spring candles are out now. Go get them. There's so many to choose from. Stop having your room smell like shit and have it smell good.
Man, you really leaned into that. You had me believing. That was nice. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to subscribe and, write a review on Apple Podcasts to help us grow. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Benches Cleared P, Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcasts. And next week, we'll be here.
And also, fuck those San Diego Padre fan idiots, virgins.
Those kids. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. And we'll see you next week. But mostly fuck Aubrey Huff.
Yeah. Those kids probably look up to Aubrey Huff.